Hello everyone, in this lesson we'll be looking at the algebra. So in algebra we'll be solving equations and inequalities. Now let's take a look of the first one. The first one I'll say is x squared plus x minus 12 for 3 marks. So we'll be solving this one for 3 marks. So here what we're going to do is that we're going to look for the factors of 12, that if we multiply those factors, 2 of them, they must give us 12. And then if we subtract them, because in order for us to get a negative, remember positive times negative is going to be negative. Okay, so for the fact that the sign here is negatives, it means that the sign of those two factors will be different. One is positive and the other one is negative, and when the signs are not the same, we subtract. So that means we're going to separate those two factors to get the middle term. So the first one, we've got 12 times 1, it is 12. 6 times 2, it is 12. And then and as well as 4 multiplied by 3, it is also 12. All right, so it is 12. And then let's check if now we can just choose the first one, that is 12 times 1. Then let's check if we subtract 12 minus 1, do we get 1 here, which is our middle term. So 12 minus 1, it is 11. So this one doesn't work for us, it is wrong. So let's check the second one. 6 times 2, it is 12, but 6 minus 2, it is 4, and our middle term is 1. So this one is wrong. So now let's take a look of the last one. 4 times 3 is 12, and then 4 minus 3, it is 1. So that means this one is going to work for us. And then that means if we subtract the 2, 4 and minus 3, so 4 must be positive and 3 must be negative. Remember guys, the sign of the bigger number must be the same as the sign of the middle term when you are looking for the factors, right? So that means we are going to choose this one, the last one, and then we just open the brackets and we close and we say equal to 0, and then we put x and we put 4 and we put 3. So 4 must be plus, 3 must be minus. And then from here, what do? We just equate each brackets equal to 0. So this brackets must be equal to 0 and this one must be equal to 0. So that means from here we're gonna say x minus 3. Let me just keep on using the same color. So x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 4 equal to 0. And then what do we do from there? We just transpose that 3 become positive and 4 become negative. So this is how you solve the value of x. Now let's take a look at the second one. So that is 1.1.2. That was 1.1.1. So let me just copy it down. Now let's take a look of this one. So here, remember guys, we're working for 5 marks here. So what I'm going to do here, the first step is to remove the square root from the left hand side. So when we remove the square root from the left hand side, we're going to just multiply by 2 here, by 2 like this way, and knowing that this 2 will nullify this, and then we're going to end up having 2x plus 1, and then is equal to, that is must be x minus 1 and x minus 1. So from here we're going to just multiply out these ones here and then applying FOIL method. So we're going to have, we just drop these ones as they are. So x times x must be x squared minus 2x and plus 1. And then now we just transpose these terms here, and then we equate everything here to 0. So it must be minus 2x. We just drop this one here, and then we're gonna just transpose this one. It is positive, and then when we transpose, change the sign, become minus, and then we drop 1, and then we take 1 from that side. So that means we're gonna have 0 is equal to x squared, and then that is must be negative 4x must be negative 4x, and then 1 will nullify that. So that means here we're going to just check what is common here. So x, which is common, we just take out x as a common factor, and then that means x must be equal to 0. X must be equal to 0, or x must be equal to 4. Okay, so from here we have to reject 1 between 0 and 4. So how are we going to reject? We have to take one x value, and then we check if maybe we substitute with that value here. Are we going to get, and also here, that if now we put that 0 in this on this side, so maybe we should get 3, and also the other side must get 3. So that means that 0 is correct. But if maybe we put 4 in the place of x, we put 4, let's say for example maybe we get 4 on this side, on the other side we get 9, that means 4 is wrong. That is not the correct answer. So now let's verify that. So we can just use our calculator by saying under the square root we've got 2 into x, and then must be plus 1, and then is equal to, which is 1. And on the other side we've got 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. So 0 is not the same. Let's check 4. If we put 2 times 4, 2 into 4 and plus 1, so it's 3. And on that side must be 4 minus 1 is also 3. So that means 4 is the right one. So then we reject, we say on this side not applicable, then we say therefore x is equal to 4. Alright, so there's a mark, guys, for rejection, for you to reject x value. Now let's look at 1.1.3. So here, guys, there's a rule that says if the base are the same, like here we've got 2 and we've got 2 on the other side, so the rule now says you just ignore those 2 bases, and then you just equate the exponent. So we've got x, which is the square root of x only, and then is equal to 27, and then we just solve this one. So we're gonna x times x to the power 1 over 2 is equal to 27. And then from here, remember this one is that x has the exponent of positive 1, and then you apply this law 1, the one that says if you multiply the powers of the same base, what do? You just keep 1, then you add the exponent. So we apply that law here, and then we've got just 1x, so it's going to be 1 plus 1 over 2, and is equal to 27. So 1 plus 1 over 2 is going to be, must be 3 over 2, and then is equal to 27. And then from here we just get rid of that exponent, which is 3 over 2, by multiplying by its inverse. So the inverse of 3 over 2 must be just 2 over 3. So we do it in both sides, 2 over 3. All right, and then from here, so this is going to nullify this, and then we're going to left with x is equal to, so remember 27, it is made by 3 to the power 3, and then times 2 over 3, and then we just simplify it further by saying must be 3 times 2 over 3, and 3 will nullify 3, so therefore we're gonna have 3 squared, which is 9. Okay, now let's take the next one. So we are here now. Yes, here we go. Now how do we do here? So here we're gonna try to find out the factors of 8. Of course it's 4 times 2 and 8 times 1, so it's just 8 and 8. But guys, if the sign here is negative, so that means the signs are not the same. One is positive times the one is negative, in order for us to get negative. So that means here what we're gonna do is that So the factors that we're going to choose between these two ones here, so that means we're going to choose the one, if we subtract them together, they must give us 2, which is the Mikli term. Let's check this one. 8 times 1, it's 8, and then 8 minus 1 is causes, it is 7. So 7 is not the same as the Mikli term there. So that means this one is wrong. Let's check this one. 4 times 2, it's 8, and then 4 minus 2, the answer is 2, which is the same as the Mikli term. So that means this one is correct. So we can take this one, all right? But that means when we subtract them, we're going to take the sum of the bigger number, so therefore must be negative and 2 must be positive. So then what do we do then? We just open the brackets and then say x and put 4 and put 2. 4 must be negative 2, 2 must be positive. And then we write what we call them critical values. Critical values is like you are just equating each bracket equal to 0. So must be 4 or x must be negative 2. And then from here, you just present this in a timeline. So you just put always the number that is negative on the left, the number that is positive on the right, and then you draw this. So from here, what do we do? And then we say if now our equation, this one here is less than x, so it is less than 0, therefore x will be less than the positive critical value, and then x will be greater than the negative one. It's just the vice versa. So that means you just look at the equation. If your equation is less than 0, also x will be less than the positive critical value and will be just greater than the negative one. Okay, so if now this equation was greater than 0 and x was going to be greater than 4 as well, and then x will be less than minus 2. Simple as that. So if now x is less than 4, so let's go to the left, and x is greater than minus 2, so greater goes to the right, then they meet halfway. So this is how you solve this part. Now let's look at the next one. So that is a simultaneous equation. So let me just copy this question. So what do we do here when you are dealing with a simultaneous equation? Let me just confirm this equation. Oh yes, I've copied correctly. So what we're going to do is that we're going to just between these two, let me just name them. This is the first equation and this is the second equation. So whether in the first equation or whether in the second equation, so we are going to make x or y subject of the formula. So you have to change whether x or y. So I can choose the first one. So my advice to you guys, you always choose the one that is maybe it looks easier just to change, or maybe just to make x or y subject of the formula. So allow me to take the first one, and then it's gonna say let me just use the same column. I'm gonna say x is equal to must be 2y and then must be minus 3. Remember that 2y on the left hand side was negative, and then when you transpose, you change the sign, but 3, it was already on the right hand side, so nothing will change. And then we name this one as equation number 3. Then from here we just write a statement that says we substitute equation 3 into equation number 2. So we're going to take those equation 3 here and then we go there. So that means in the place of x in this equation here, so we're going to plug in this value now. Let me just equation 3. So that means we're going to plug in this value here. So in the place of x, so we're going to put this value and then we just put it there. So simple as that. All right. So now let's then copy that equation as it is, and then we're gonna just work it out. 20. And the place of x, I said, guys, the place of x here, I'm no longer gonna write x here in this equation, but I'm gonna put 2y minus 3 in the place of x. So let me just put it as must be 2y minus 3, that is in the place of x is equal to 20. Alright, so then what do we do from here? We're gonna just multiply this one out. So y times 2y and y times 3. So we just get there must be 2y squared minus 3y, and we can just bring 20 from that side to this side, become minus 2 and then equal to 0. And then from here we can just try to find the factors of 20 here. So 20, of course, it is 4 times 5 and it is 10 times 2. So these are the factors of 20. Alright, but there is also that 2 there. So let's just give a try. So I'm going to just put a brackets like this one equal to 0. And put 2y and y here, because 2y times y is going to be 2y squared. Then now if we put 4 here, and then if we put 5 here, and then let's say we're going to have this one must be minus and this one must be plus. Let's just try to multiply it out and you check. So it must be this one, 2y times y must be 2y squared. 2y times that must be negative 8y, and 5 times y must be plus 5y, and of course the last one is going to give us negative 20. These two terms give us a middle term, which is 3, negative 3. So 8 minus 5 definitely is minus 3. So that means it works for us. Okay. So which is conclude by saying therefore must be 2y plus 5 is equal to 0, or y minus 4 is equal to 0. And then we just so that means here we've chosen the first one. So the first one did work for us. So we just say here 2y must be equal to negative 5, and then just divide by 2 in both sides. Therefore y must be negative 5 over 2. And then here it's going to be just y is equal to positive 4. Remember, the equation says we must solve for x and y. So we've done solving for y. What do? We're going to just take from equation 3, the one that says x is equal to 2y minus 3, and or x is equal to 2y minus 3. So what we're going to do, we're going to just, in the place of y here, we're going to just plug in the first value, and then also here we do the same. So that we're going to end up having 2 values of x as you're having 2 values of y. So x must be 2 into negative 5 over 2 minus 3. So you can just, guys, I'll work this one out. So 2 nullifies 2, so minus 5 minus 3. So that it must be negative 8. And then on that side, we've got x must be 2 into 4 and then minus 3. So therefore x must be 2 times 4, which is 8. So 8 minus 3 must be positive 5. So these are the values of x and y. So we've done now, guys. So that was the last question. Yes, that was the last question. Yeah, now let's look at the question 2. We're still solving for x. Now the first part here, we are given that 3x plus 2 and then x minus 5. That is only for 2 marks. So I know, guys, that many of you think that to multiply out these two brackets, like 3x times x and 3x times 5, and then all the stuff, then you add like terms and you factorize, so on. But guys, there is no need to do that if it is only 2 marks. So please, if it was 3 marks or maybe 4 marks, then we're going to do that. All right. So now what we're gonna do is just take it easy. We just equate each bracket equal to 0. Simple as that, only for 2 marks. So that means we're gonna have 3x like this. Then you just transpose 2. So 3x must be negative 2, 5, positive 5. So you just divide by 3 in both sides. Therefore x must be negative 2 over 3. So you've done the first part. And then the second one, let's take the second one. So in the second one, they say here in brackets, correct to 2 decimal places. Once once the examiner indicate that, so it means that there are no factors in this equation. So don't even waste time by trying to open your brackets and looking for the factors of 1 and all the stuff. So when they say in brackets correct to 2 decimal places, that means you must go straight to the quadratic formula. Okay, so but before that, let's just indicate the values of a, b, and c like this. Then now let me just write down the formula. This is the equation or formula. Then we substitute. So in the place of a, we just put 3. In the place of b, we put 5. Done. Substitution. Remember, guys, there's a mark for substitution. And guys, I beg you that please do not split this this formula. Just after the substitution, make sure that you punch this in your calculator as it is if you are using a Casio. Let's just work it out and then we see that what do we do then. So if we've got just 5 and then take plus, and we've got that is 5 squared, so we've got minus 4 times a is 3 and then c is -1, then all divided by 2 times 3. So simple as that. So the first value of x there, it is 1,85, and then we round off into 2 decimal places. So x there, it is 1,85. So or then now I've chosen positive. Now I'm going to change and put minus. So I'm gonna just, all right, and I'm gonna put minus there, so it's just negative 0,18, negative 0,18, negative 0,18. So now it is 100% correct. Now let's move on to the next one. So the next one here now, so only for 5 marks. So let's just copy down and then we work it. Yeah, here we go. Then what we're gonna do here, guys, is that remember the sign of a term, it is the sign that that is placed ahead or is the coefficient. So for example, the sign of x there, it is positive, the sign of 4 is right over here. So meaning that the sign of this negative sign is just the sign of this square bracket, which is the square root here. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to transpose these brackets with a negative sign to that side, and it will become positive, and then we take x to this side and x will become negative. Yeah, here we go. And then from here we're gonna just remove this square root here by multiplying by 2, or the square root of 2 in both sides like this. This is gonna cancel this one, and then now we are left with x minus 2, or let me just continue this color, x minus 2 equal to, and then we just split and minus x. So what I'm gonna do from here, we're gonna just say 4 times 4 and 4 times x, x times 4 and x times x. Simple as that. So we just drop these ones. So 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times x is minus 4, and x times 4 is minus 4. Minus 4x minus 4x is negative 8x, and x times x, it is positive x squared. And then we just take these ones here to that side, so and then we equate it to 0. So must be 0 is equal to x squared, and then negative 8x. We take x to that side. Remember this x, it is positive, become negative, and then from here we just drop 16, and then we take 2, become plus 2. Then from here we just add like terms, so it's gonna be x squared, and then let me just some space, yeah, just x squared, and then 8 plus remember there is a 1 here, but there is no need to show that one. So 8 plus 1 must be negative 9x, and then 16 plus must be plus 18. All right, then from here we find the factors of 18. Factors of 18, it is then we're gonna use 9 times 2, it is 18. and then also 6 times 3 it is 18. But if this sign here is positive, it means that we have to add those two factors to get a middle term. All right, we have to add them. So let's check the first one. 9 times 2 18, but 9 plus 2 it is 11. So 11 does not give us the middle term, which is 9. So that means this one is wrong. Let's take a look of this one. 6 times 3 18, but 6 plus 3 it is 9. So it gives the middle term. So this one is correct. So that means in order for us to get negative 9, we should have minus 6 minus 3. All right, so that means we're gonna have brackets and x and 6 and 3 minus, and then we just equate each brackets to 0. So x minus 6 equal to 0, or x minus 3 equal to 0, and then also x must be 6 and x must be 3. But we're not done, guys, as yet. So we have to verify that the value of x. So that means we have to take 6 and then we substitute it here, and then we put 6 here also. And then if now we put 6, maybe we get 4 and then is equal to 4, that means 6 is correct. But if maybe we got 4 on the other side, we get 6, that means 6 is incorrect, so we reject it. So let's just try to use our calculator, and then we check that. So on the other side we've got is the x minus 2. So we've got 6 as x minus 2, which is 2, and then on the other side we've got 4 minus 4 minus 6, which is minus 2. So this is wrong. So let me just check another one. So I said x minus 2 and 4 minus x. So let's just type 3 now. So we've got under the brackets we've got 3 minus 2, which is 1, and on that side we've got 4 minus 3, which is also 1. So that means 3 is correct. So that means 6, we reject you. Then you write this, and then you say therefore the value of x is 3. So there's a mark for that. All right, let's check another question. So we are here now. Let's just copy. Now let's take a look of this one. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna just transpose 3 to this side, and then we change the sign, then we equate it to 0. So then like this, and then after that we just find the factors of 3. So 3 times 1, there's only 1, just 3 times 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then we need to, that means if this sign is negative, that means the signs are not the same. So 1 is positive times negative in order for us to get negative. So what do we do then? And then which one must be negative, which one must be positive? Let's just open the brackets and we see, because there's that 2 there, so it's going to be 2x and x. So 2 is bigger, it's going to be 2x times x and 2x times that number. So that means we should put that means must be 3 here and must be 1 here, so that 3 will be bigger, and then 3 will be bigger by multiplying with this 2 here. That means 1 must be negative and 3 must be positive, because you must make the one that is bigger, its sign must be the same as the one of the middle term. Okay, it's always like that. And then so from here we can just write what we call critical values, and then we just say x is equal to positive 1 over 2, or x must be negative 3, and then we just draw a timeline, and then we put the negative one on the left, the one that is positive on the right, and then from here, and then we draw this. So we say from here, if our equation, this one, is less than 0, therefore x will be less or equal to the positive critical value and will be greater or equal to the negative one. So it is just a vice versa. All right, so yeah, we are done now. So let me just look at the next part. let me just also show you. If now we're having those zeros on top of each critical value, we're saying that x is less than half, but x is greater than this one. So if it is less, so it's half. If it is less, it will go to the left. If it is greater, it will go to the right. But if you've got less or equal to, greater or equal to, you have to shade those circles here. Alright, so we have to shade them. Now if you remember the question that we're doing here above, what is that question? Oh, here is this part. So we left those zones unshaded because it was only less. But if it was less or equal to, we're going to shade those circles. I hope you understand now. Then now let's take a look of the last one, which is right here now. Simultaneous equation. Let me just copy down this question and then we solve. So these are the two equations, guys, that we have. So this is the first equation, of course. This is the second one, but I don't have a space here. And then now we have to choose one here, and then we make x or y substitute of the formula. Definitely I'm going to advise you to choose this one, because this one at least is smaller than this one. This one has a square, so maybe this one is going to just complicate things. It's going to be difficult for you to make x here subject from this one. But this one here, it's easy, so you can just choose this one. So you can just make y or x. Let's just make x. So that means we're going to take x to that side and we bring 2 to this side. So that means we're going to end up having 5y minus 2 is equal to x. And then this is, when you just name it as equation number 3. And then from here we just write this statement below that says we substitute equation 3 into equation number 2, which is to this one here. So what we're going to do, we said now x, the value of x is equal to 5y minus 2, the value of x. That means here in the place of x we're going to put this value. Whenever we see x, we put this value. Okay, so let's just take this equation here and then we just write it down here as it is. All right, and then now let's begin to substitute then. So that means going to be 5y minus 2 all square. Let me just open these two brackets like this way without any further waste of time, because we know the once we have square, that means there are two brackets. So minus 3, and then into the place of x over here we're going to put that 5y minus 2 and then times y plus 4y is equal to 4. And then the next step, guys, is to multiply out these brackets here and then also this ones here. So that is, so we're having x and y here. So it's going to be 5 times 5 must be 25y squared, and 5 times 2 is 10, and then must be negative 20y and plus 4, because which is 2 times 2. And then what we're gonna do is that, guys, many students tends to make a mistake here, because this 3 is multiplying these brackets as well as y is also multiplying the same brackets. So my advice to you is to bring y up front here. Just take y and then you write it here as 3y, so that you're gonna just multiply it at once, because once you multiply with 3 you're gonna forget to multiply again with that y, so then you end up getting the wrong answers. So my advice to you is just to bring y up front like this way. Okay, plus 4y. Let's just also bring 4 from that side. We have minus 4 and then equate it to 0. And the next step is to open these brackets by 3y now, so that you're gonna know that you must multiply it once. Okay, then the next step is to open that brackets and add like 10. Yeah, here we go. Then the next step is to add like terms. Let me just highlight those like terms for you. So we've got 15 and then 25, So 25 minus 15. So remember, we have to subtract because these are the unlike terms. So 20 minus 10 must be 10, and we've got the 10 minus 5. So, and then the other one must be, should be 20y and 6y and 4y. These are the like terms. And then the next step is to let me just note this one here. So 25 and 15 must be 10y squared, and then 20y and 6 plus 4 is 10, and 20 minus 10 must be negative 10y also, and then 4 will nullify 4, that 4, and then so we're gonna have is equal to 0. So this is what we have here. All right, so the next step is to just to factorize. In fact, just to take out the common fact, we've got 10 and y, they are common. So 10y is common, and then so we're gonna have inside a bracket that is y must be minus 1 equal to 0. And then you say therefore 10 must be 10y is equal to 0, or y minus 1 equal to 0. And then that means we're going to just divide by 10 in both sides. So therefore y must be 0 and the other one must be 1. Okay, remember that our equation 3 says x is equal to this portion, so we're going to just copy that value. So we've got x, that is 5y minus 2, or x is equal to 5y minus 2. So we're gonna just, in the place of y, we're gonna just put 0, and then we're gonna just put 1 there, and then to get x and x, because remember we're solving for x and y, not only y. So 5 times 0 is just 0, so we've got minus 2, and then that side, which is 1, and then minus 2, so must be 3, because we've got 5 times 1, just 5 minus 2, which is 3. So we're done now, guys. This is how you solve simultaneous equation. Let me just confirm that was the last question. Yes, it was the last question, guys. That's all that I have for you. Thank you so much.